everybody, and thank you for listening to Brandon Sanderfans with Ben and Sam. I'm your co-host Sam with my best friend Ben. Hey Ben, what time is it?
It's the final empire. We're empiring together. It's the final empire. That was good fireworks, Sam. I thought it worked a lot better here than it did in dress.
Absolutely, yeah. In dress, my mouth was a little dry. I got a big old mouthful of water.
Yeah.
Hey everybody.
Well, we really get a taste. We really get a taste of it this week, don't we, Sam? We get a whole taste of that bloody final empire everyone's been talking about.
Yeah, the mouthful of water is very similar to the mouthful of blood that many men had in their mouths when they were killed and stabbed to death. Oh boy, there's a train going by. And the train is going right behind my house.
Well, it's like the mouthful of blood, or the mouthful of pewter beads that Vin had to take so that she could run all the way across the land to reach people who are already dead.
Oh, that was sad. Wow. Okay, so everyone, I need everyone to calm down because I understand that every episode I say I don't remember this. And this is the last time I'm going to say it. I don't remember any of this. I completely forgot about all of this. So from now on, I'm reading these books for the first time and just enjoying them for the first time. Period. Well, Sam, I will never bring up the fact again. First time. What's up?
It's like when you learned the drums. You don't remember learning the drums. You remember knowing the drums. It's the same thing with Mistborn. You just know it. You reach deep down, and you feel it. You feel the metals inside of you. Burn those metals, Sam. Ooh, you're flying. Why are you flying? Oh, you pushed off some metal? Oh, you can't get back down. Oh, you're only a misting. There's no other metal? You're in the Grand Canyon? Oh, this is very awkward. Take off your belt buckle. Oh, you went pantsless today. Okay, this is very, very interesting. Very interesting situation where you're recording right now, Sam. We need to talk about this more. You were in Arizona. You didn't even talk to me. I know it's a very long way down, so you're probably still alive.
Let me put it like this.
Yeah.
I died. I fell and I died. All that time you're talking, I was just falling, and now I'm dead. But I'm back as a ghost, a Mistborn ghost. How many metals can we use? Is there an 11th, 13th, 12th, 15th metal in the spirit realm? Only time will tell. In Sam's book called Mistborn, the Final Empire, the Reckoning.
Ooh, the Reckoning. I like that because you're a ghost, and it makes it sound foreboding. But I want to say just a piece for your new Mistborn book. The Reckoning. The 15th metal should be magma. You get in there, you push that magma around in your ghost spirit, and it hurts other ghost spirits. Yes, it hurts other ghost spirits because they are made of water, but you're made of metal. Huh? Yeah?
Is that because I'm a Mistborn?
Yeah, because you're a Mistborn.
Okay,
so your spirit is made of metal.
This is good. This is really good.
Your spirit's made of all of the metals. It was interesting how you died just being able to push on metal, but now you can do all of them. That's just how it is sometimes. Life is unpredictable, and death.
It's a luck of the draw.
So.
So just in this new book, will I have to be worried about getting sued by Brandon Sanderson? Because the title of the book is Mistborn, the Final Empire, the Reckoning. And Mistborn is a pretty big part of my book, and his book is also called Mistborn. You know what? We'll hammer it out in post. We'll talk to him. I'll give him a little Skype. Hit him up with Elon Musk.
Let me actually call him up right now.
Get some ideas. Oh, wow.
Hello? Oh, hi, Brandon. I didn't know you'd pick up on the first try. Yes, this is Brandon. I'm writing books all the time. Oh, yeah.
Hello,
of course.
Hello, right. Brandon Sanderson. This is this is Sam Luce. Big fan.
Are you the one that stole my Mistborn book? You came in and you grabbed my Mistborn book and you stole it and you made it ghosts. There's no ghosts in Mistborn. I don't believe in no ghosts.
Well, let me tell you about my friend Huey Lewis in the News. He can stop any ghosts in any realm, in any reality. That's not why I'm here. I'm here to talk to you about a book that I've written called...
Huey Lewis in the News, do I know one of his songs?
You might, or if you're familiar with Weird Al, you might know a better version of one of his songs.
Oh, I Want a New Duck, right? I Want a New Duck, that was one of the better version songs. That's the good one.
That is correct. That is on record. That is correct. Mr. Sanderson, we just want to ask you, can we write a new Mistborn book and put it and publish it under your name and have it be basically a complete rip-off of all of your stuff?
Wait, you want to write my books now?
No, just one. Just one of them. It'll be really a novella, like 10 pages long. Like a history report.
Anything to release me from this genie's curse where I have to write 24/7. I've been stuck in this genie's curse for years. Please release me.
Why would it be a genie's curse? Was it like a 3 wishes kind of thing, and then at the end of the 3 wishes, you were stuck and you're writing? Or did you wish this curse on yourself?
It was like monkey paw. Like you think you want it, but then it turns out not the way that you thought.
Yeah.
Like Bedazzled with Brendan Fraser.
I'm not familiar. Is that a film?
Yeah, it's a film. Everyone knows that film. It's like The Mummy with Brendan Fraser. They're both films. That's what I mean.
The Mummy. That's the one with Tom Cruise. That's coming out soon.
No, we're not talking about the Tom Cruise yelling in a silent airplane movie. We're talking about the better version that I made with Brendan Fraser, where I made up the guy who had all the religious artifacts. You're not listening to me. Can you release me from the genie curse?
I'll get back to you on that. Ben, hang up the call. Yeah, we'll definitely talk to you about. Thank you for permission.
Get there, Brandon. Oh, you better. Boop. Man. Oh, you know what? I called the wrong Brandon Sanderson. That was mean, Brandon Sanderson. I'm so sorry, Sam. I really should have called the normal one that actually writes books. I'm sorry.
I know that guy he had an attitude. But that's what happens when you go to get your book signed by a genie and then he kisses it and then you're cursed.
Yeah. Well, I think, if I could flesh out his backstory a little bit more, I think it was a little more something like this. I'm a writer. I want to write all the time. Genie, help me to stay focused and write all the time. Genie curse, you can't stop writing, right? Until you die. Or until you're released from the genie curse. Yeah?
Yeah, or until somebody else gets a genie and then says, I wish that he would stop writing. No, but then we would never get books because he would stop writing.
Uh-huh. See, it's like a pleasure-pain sort of thing. Like, if you've seen 50 Shades of Grey, it's like...
Oh, there it is.
It's a good bad thing, right?
We got really close to doing an entire podcast without mentioning 50 Shades of Grey, but here we are.
I did a Facebook quiz, and are you a Christian Grey or are you a Dorian Gray from the Portrait of Dorian Gray?
Oh, I'm more of a Grey's Anatomy. No, that's not true either. I don't like that show.
I'm more of a Crispin Glover.
Oh no. That's not a good. No, that's not a good thing. That's not a good. I'm more of a Donald Glover.
That's a good one.
Wait, that is a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Hey Ben, what do we do on this podcast? Yeah. Do we just joke about stuff?
We talk about Brandon Sanderson. Sometimes we get to call him up, but we call up his evil twin. Specifically, we're talking about Mistborn, and these chapters of Mistborn, it got quite a death toll. Got a lot of people getting their hands chopped off, I assume.
Well, at least their hands chopped off. Who knows? I mean, they might have just grabbed a guy by the arm and then cut his body off, and they just had an arm. Oh man.
Now, see, I'm looking at my bookcase here. You got Mistborn, The Final Empire, The Well of Ascension, Hero of Ages, Alloy of Law, Shadows of Self, Bands of Mistborn. So, Bands of Mourning. So all these books, a lot of people die in these books, don't they? A lot of people die in this book for sure.
Wait, like a George R.R. Martin situation?
No, because George R.R. Martin would be like, the sword plunged into his neck, severing all of his body parts, and and his organs exploded inside of him and came out of his ear holes. It'd be very descriptive. This is more like, over there, thousands of people are dying. That's what's happening over there. That's more what this is doing.
It's kind of like in the Hobbit cartoon when the huge battle breaks out, and then all of it is just Bilbo sitting on the hill, and he's like writing about it and how terrible it is, but you just see him and his cartoon reactions. Was it kind of like that?
Yeah, it's kind of like that. In fact, the entirety of the Mistborn series is a lot like that Hobbit cartoon, including that there is a song that Leonard Nimoy wrote about the Mistborn series.
Oh man,
rest in peace.
I've got to hear that either now or at a later time.
Do you want to hear it right now?
Oh, I do. I really do. Hold on, let's ask the audience. Audience, just tweet at us, say hashtag Ben, give us that good Leonard Nimoy-esque song about Mistborn that you promised us. That is hashtag, I'm not repeating that. Ben, go ahead.
Okay. So he mostly wrote about Sazed, his favorite character. So Sazed Baggins, bravest little hobbit of them all. He didn't change much, but the intent was there. It was in his waning years. He wasn't going to write anything new. Like, who is he, Brandon Sanderson? He can't write all the time.
Is that
it? Yeah, that's as much as he wrote. Look, he was overlooking a hill while Brandon Sanderson was battling with himself to write this book, and that's what he wrote. Well, Sam, actually getting into the book, then we get to see the results of last time when they're like, hey, is that army? We left an army right over there. Is that the one that's dying all over?
Oh boy, I hope not. But we should probably go check on that. Vin, take all these beads, put them in your mouth. Let's go.
Yeah, Kelsey very, very direct on that one, and
very
much asking what was going on. And so we learn about pewter dragging. Basically, they destroy their bodies for like weeks, so that they can run the entire way all the way to the battlefield. It takes them 2 weeks to get back. I was just reading a little bit ahead after this takes place, but they run out there, and they realize that the army, basically yeoman who was left in charge, decided to march on the nearest town and just try to make a name for himself, do something that no other Scout Rebellion had done, and actually defeat and take over a city, which they kind of do. Like, they're successful, but like they're also like screwed.
They're also very not successful in that they die, like a lot.
Yes, they also die a lot, especially when the garrison, the Luthadel garrison, finally meets up with them and everything. They're going to be real messed.
Yeah, it was because with pewter dragging all the way there, I think Kelsier mentioned it takes like 16 hours or some ridiculous short amount of time for just running there as two humans or two Mistborns. But they get there, and Vin was completely disoriented, and I can only imagine. No, I can't imagine. I mean, I've flown.
Sam, you've been exercising a lot recently. Have you, like, when you started, or as you've been exercising, you've gotten into that headspace where you're like in so much pain while running that you just like shut everything down and you just keep going no matter what? Do you know what I'm talking about? Like where you just go
absolutely.
into. It's and a lot of runners actually, they seek that. That's a form of meditation for them. A lot of people that do long distance running is to get to that point, and their body just goes off of instinct, and their mind is just completely clear.
Yes, yeah, and that's what I was getting at.
I can't say I've really felt that because exercises, my body and exercise are like oil and water, not friends. And going through that as Vin, like, especially for the first time, where she's probably used it like sprinting and running away from things and staying on the lam, but not literally sprinting for a whole day.
Yeah, and I think it was Kelsier who was just like, no, of course it was Kelsier because he was the one doing it, but he's like, you're not gonna totally survive this. I mean, you'll survive, but your body's gonna hate you forever afterwards. And then talks about the headache that she had and her body just in revolt, and how she's like, I don't even know what rest is anymore.
He's like, don't stop burning pewter or you can die.
Oh my gosh.
Their bodies should be dead, but they keep going. This is like, so there's the story of the, have you heard of the first marathon, Sam? How the marathon started?
Is that the guy who ran 26 miles to warn his people, warn the ruler that an army was coming or something like that?
Exactly. So according to legend, in Rome, they were fighting battles. In between battles, they didn't have a lot of horses, so they would just send runners from one front to another front. And these are people that are very lean. They wore no armor. They would just run the entire way from one place to another. And they wouldn't carry any messages. They would only relay them spoken. So this, apparently, there was going to be like a sneak attack, or the front was failing or something. And this runner ran 26 miles back to the nearest general to tell him the story and tell him what was going on, and then he died. And that's why we have the distance of a marathon, and why it's specifically that distance, and why we still do it in the Olympics, because the Olympics are linked to old Rome and things like that. So when people tell me like, oh, I'm just going to run a marathon, I'm like, someone died doing that, right? Like, that's how it started. They died. That was the first one. They're like, oh, this is the first marathon. Oh, yeah, he died. Let's do this again with everyone now. Everyone can do this.
Everyone can die. It'll be a group dying.
Can you imagine a death cult where they just run to death?
That sounds like the worst thing ever. Because at a certain point, people are like, this is so great. Everyone's running. And then after, however long, they're like, wait, are they going to stop? And then they keep going, and they're like, someone needs to stop them. And then they just die.
People in the back are like, hey, I get it. We're gonna all die. Like, we're gonna kill each other. But I was thinking like Kool-Aid or something. This whole running to death is not my style. This is not how I want to go. They make it all the way. They make it all the way out there, and all of their gun boys are dead. All of their spear boys and everything.
They're spear boys. Yeah, spear boys. They do go back to the cave. They go back to the cave because Vin's like, they probably left some people. And this is a part that I was getting so frustrated with Kelsier in this part, because Kelsier looked on the field of battle and he saw all these people dying, and he's like, these are my men. And putting that possessive on it made it seem like he was taking the blame for teasing them with allomancy and making them seem as though they could achieve these superpowers with his help. But I also feel like he was trying to be the martyr without actually being killed. He was like, this is my fault. He was being so selfish, and it got even worse because, it got worse in a sense because they get back to the cave and Vin's like, no, there's people there, and Kelsier's like, no, there's not, Vin. You're an idiot. You're just a dumb kid. And there actually are people there, and he's like, okay, maybe you're not a dumb kid, whatever. But he gets so angsty in these chapters, and then comes...
You didn't know Army? You weren't friends with Army? I met Army like 2 times. I loved Army.
I loved Army. Army was great.
I loved Army, mother. These are the awards I got for fighting in Army.
For fighting and dying in Army. I'm a ghost now. A ghost Mistborn. The Reckoning.
Just like that, right.
But do you have anything else to say about the battle? Because there's a part that I once again... Okay, no, I'm not going to say it again. I read it, and I was like, I didn't know this happened, and I loved it. It's when he sits down, and the old man comes over starts talking to him.
Yeah, Menace. Dude, Menace is the best. Dennis the Menace.
This was literally...
Menace the dentist.
Menace the dentist. He has terrible teeth, but he knows how to work them.
You work those pearly whites for me. Pearly grays?
Pearly kind of brown water.
Brown waters. Like the brown waters. Work those meaty stews for me.
He says everything to Kelsier's face that I've wanted to say to his face.
And he's like, this isn't about you. Like, you don't get to choose whether this is good or bad. And I love that.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh. And everything you said. And, of course, I understand that Kelsier is stubborn, but there also needs... there's a point that he's trying to get to, or that Brandon Sanderson's trying to get to with Kelsier. But there's a part of me that knows how it ends, and there's another part of me that really hopes that Kelsier takes some of it to heart.
Yeah.
I really don't know how much actually entered into his ears and stayed there. I feel like he just kind of like listened. He's like, oh, this old man, I kind of forced him and his friends out of their plantation because I murdered a couple people or whatever, and now
I
he's
killed
here
everyone.
because I'm a murder boy. But he probably just listened and was like, well, I mean, even at the end of that chapter, he's like, I haven't failed yet. Not yet.
Mm-hmm. Not yet.
Ominously.
There's still enough. Still time. Well, and the thing is, like, I think he's feeling, and he is reshaping his worldview and kind of like what he's supposed to do from here the entire time that he's coming back. So it takes him 2 weeks to get back, like I said, and they meet with the rest of the crew, and the rest of the crew is like, well, that's it. I mean, the job is done. Our employer is dead, and the army with it. So now we will never be able to take the Final Empire or get the ATM or anything. And Kelsier goes back to the board, and he's like, that's not true. Like, look what we've already accomplished. The garrison is handicapped. Like, they're not going to be able to defend the city if we can start an uprising here. We'll just need to get more soldiers. And he's able to turn around. He's very charismatic. He does have good leadership skills. I think this is a little bit like he's very much forcing the issue. Like he can't stand for this job to go wrong or to not happen. It's either going to be this job or his life. I think is what he's kind of hurtling towards.
And there's a moment where he walks in and somebody says something, and then Kelsier acknowledges the fact that the armies are dead, but he does it insensitively, and Breeze is like, these were actual Breeze, not in the least Breeze moment that exists in these books. He's just like, dude, are you serious? People are dead. Like, humans that you were in charge of died, and you are so cavalier about this, and Kelsey's like, no, I know they're dead. I saw it. Did I tell you guys about it? I was on a hill. I wrote about it. Do you want to hear a song I wrote about it? but it was such a genuine moment with Breeze, and this, man, there's just a part of me that's really bothered by Kelsier. Really bothered by his attitude, and of course that's the part of me that hates it when people are too cheery all the time, and people who are like constantly finding the good things about everything. How dare they? How dare they try to be positive in a world that's full of garbage? But I can't blame him. I could just be mad at him.
I mean, absolutely, Kelsier has a million good things about him that make him a good protagonist and good for this role in this job. But he's also has a lot of sociopathy that he's going through. He's a sociopath in many, many different ways. He puts things on himself. He is selfish. He is prideful. He is. He thinks so much of himself as well, as Menace kind of pointed out and put him down on. Not to say that I don't love him. I love him because of these things as well. Because he's not a perfect sketch of a hero. He's flawed. He's compromised, and he is broken. He's very convicted about what he's doing. It's like there's a belief in cinema and in TV now, where the most important thing for the protagonist of your story isn't that they be easy to deal with or like good to compare yourself with. For example, Walter White or Tony Soprano. These aren't good men. These aren't men that other men would really identify as and say, I want to be like them. They are, though, committed. They have a deep, entrenched commitment of what they're going to do. And that's compelling to people because I think that more and more as people, we know that there's good people and bad people, but it's always a mix. No one's all one or the other. And so seeing someone that has commitment, that's more inspiring sometimes than seeing someone that's an ultimate good in the world. It's inspiring to see someone with commitment overcome the obstacles so they can achieve their goals, even if those goals are objectively bad things we shouldn't want them to have.
That's a very good point. And I don't think I've ever heard that, although it does register, especially with Walter White. I mean, we could talk about Breaking Bad all day, but it is that it is that level of commitment that, although I do find his cheeriness very annoying, and I do find his hot-headedness, his self-entitledness, although I hate that, the commitment he has to making the world a better place, even if it is through murder and bloodshed and some other ways that, aren't wouldn't be the best in any other situation. Like, and yeah, exactly.
Like, he is racist, pretty much, like, against the noblemen. I know they're not quite a race, like, they're humans as well, but, like, he is a bigot, and he hates these people specifically just because of their station in life, and for no other reason. He doesn't need any other reason. But the bad part is if he needed a reason, he wouldn't have to look very far for most of them to find a reason to hate them.
Right, right, absolutely.
So, I mean, there are lots of complicated things. That's why it's a fantasy world. They get to do things in extremities, so that we can kind of explore how you traverse those times. And I mean, you could have made a book about this where it was from a completely different point of view, and the person could have still been seen as a hero. We could see an entire series about the Lord Ruler and about him trying to overcome adversity and come into his own and basically rule the entire Earth where they are. And that could be very compelling because he is incredibly committed, or at least he has been at times in his life, at least, to what ends he wants to do. But that's not the story we're reading now. But it's just interesting. Like, I understand like where Kelsier's coming from, but I also understand, like, hey, dude, you need to chill out. I still love the dude, though. I still want him to succeed. I want him to be happy, even though I don't think he's been happy since Mare's died.
And even then, I don't think he was ever going to be happy until the next job. You know what I mean? Like, he needed the next job to gain more notoriety, to gain more money, to gain more respect. He wanted to become the best crew leader, and there was probably a part of him that was never going to be happy until he had, until he had it all, until he could be, the name, somebody could drop a name, and he would be like, and he would be revered by all, or he would be completely popular for what he'd done in whatever heist. But he never got to that point because of what happened, and who knows, he may not actually make it with this one, but we'll read as the chapters go on. There's only a handful of chapters left. I mean, we're getting down to the final stretch of Mistborn, the Final Empire.
Wait, this is like, I think I judged out this is like the 5th to last episode of our, so we're like 2/3 of the way through our Mistborn series so far. There's only be 4 more episodes after this one. At least in reading, we may do some more postmortems on the book and everything. But I think Kelsey's interesting, and what happens to the guy that always has to have another job when the next job he chooses is the destruction of the world that is in place. And he doesn't seem like he really has any plans on how to fix that. In fact, his official plan with the crew is just to leave him to it. And, it's bound to be better once the obligators and the Lord Ruler are gone.
Well, it's bound to be, but will it be? That's the big question.
Yeah, well, actually, going into that, they're halfway through this meeting when there are calls to the central courtyard, and basically all of Luthadel is gathering, or has gathered in this courtyard to watch mass executions. The Lord Ruler, his authority has been questioned by the attack of the Ska army at that other city, and he won't take it anymore. He is now going to force all the people to watch the consequences. He's going to kill indiscriminately. In fact, Kelsey, you're looking over the people, and he's like, there's no way he even looked at any of these people. They're not even remotely linked to the rebellion. He's just picking them at random. Men, women, children, anyone, and just killing them just to keep the Ska scared so that they don't try anything else.
This was a cool moment because we see the power. We get a glimpse of the Lord Ruler for the first time without actually seeing him. We just see his carriage, and his power is so frighteningly intense that it is a wave over every single person. And even Breeze is like, holy crap, I could do maybe a couple hundred people at a time, but every single person in that audience was put down, was their emotions were just pressed to the bottom of despair. I don't know what he was making them feel other than complete dejection and utter misery. But it was a glimpse into just how powerful the Lord Ruler is, and once again it was a moment that I was like, I know Kelsier wants to do this, but I mean, can he do this? Can he really pull it off? And then he gives this big speech while heads are getting separated from bodies. The speech is very empowering, but there's a big problem I had with it, because at the very end he's like, we can do this, but don't question my authority. It's like, okay, I know I was with you until that, and now I'm not sure I am. And I understand that he is the leader of the crew. That's his title. That's the job description. That's what he turned his resume an application in for. But I don't know. There was just something very, very prideful about it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
And the thing is, I totally get you. The thing is, like, I feel so. In order for someone to do what Kelsier's doing, they may have to be like Kelsier. We look at people like Steve Jobs that did, crazy things with technology and pushing people to their absolute breaking points to get something brand new and incredible out to the public. And the same thing, sort of this megalomania, this quest for perfection, that things had to be exactly so, and because I said so, because that's the way it needs to be. If it's not like that, then there's no purpose for it to exist. That intensity. I think that Kelsier has a similar bead in him of like, yes, I'll stay around and we will do this together, but I am the ultimate authority. You don't question what I'm doing, because what I'm doing is for all of our benefits. And like, it's kind of questionable. Like, okay, dude, like, maybe chill, but
why not make this a democracy? We can all talk about it. You don't have to just be the only one in charge. But of course, it was a moment of passion and emotion as they saw all these innocent people getting killed, and as the Lord Ruler himself was there to witness it, or at least to be there for the demonstration.
Right.
It was I think that was the last little bit of. No, I guess there was one chapter after that, or a little bit after that. But then, they're all remotivated to try to do it, try to carry out the plan, even though a large chunk of the army that they just, got all set up and almost ready to go had just been smushed.
Exactly. Like, I don't know what I would do in that situation. Maybe it's easiest to follow the guy that has vision. It's something so depressing like that. Like, what else are you going to do? Obviously, like, there's no other path for you. You could have easily been one of those people getting executed if you had just been easier to grab, and there would have been no question about it. No one in the nobility would have cared, and no one in the Scot population would have remembered you, because that's just the world they live in. And if they're going to go down, why not try to disrupt that? Why not try to break it up?
We find out that through Marsh comes and finds Kelsier, that they have stations all over the city of not soothers.
Yeah, it's soothing stations is what they call them, right?
Yes, soothing stations. And they do every day, all day, 24/7, 365, just like a, I don't even know how to explain it. Essentially,
just like a blanket of despair. Just like,
there we
hey,
go, thank you.
No hope, no optimism, no happiness, just despair. And the thing is, like, imagine the Skas and the plantations. Those are slaves. They're working like slaves every day. And so it's keeping them down. That's the role of the people, the taskmasters in the field. The people in the city, they may have their own place to live. They have their wife. They have their children. They may even try to have a modicum of happiness, but not while these soothing stations are basically just taking that away from them. Just basically blanket removing all of the happy feelings, memories, associations, and affecting the way that they act to one another, to just keep them down, to make sure that they don't try to rise up ever.
Yeah, and Kelsier mentions, he's like, it makes sense now, because the city ska are the most apathetic, unmotivated, dejected people, or dejected ska in in the entire world, and it's because of these soothing stations. There can be no emotional freedom for anyone as long as they're in Luthadel, and limited to no emotional motivation or emotional freedom in Luthadel, and that's why it was so hard to get recruits. That's why it was so hard to get people motivated by Kelsier's plan, is because they were just constantly being berated with allomancy without them knowing it. And we find out Marsh is he's getting pretty high up there. He's the obligator. The obligators? Yeah, the obligators.
Yeah, the obligators who take it special
They like
note
what they
like,
see.
Like it a lot. I think it's interesting. Like he even kind of dishes on the other students that were in the basically the same group with him.
Oh, yeah.
And he dishes on them like I know more than these guys do, and like these guys are they train their entire life for this. I feel like Marsh has that special sort of cred that comes from like he was obsessed with the obligators because he hated them so much. He was obsessed with the Steel Inquisition. He probably knows every single bit of their doctrine. He probably even studied finance, and he studied their suppression tactics, and he knows probably more than people outside of the obligators themselves would ever know. And I feel like that balancing act of him being in there and just being like, oh, well, that is this, right? And they're like, yeah, how do you know that? He's like, oh, nothing, I don't, never mind. Just walking away, and they're like, I like that one. He knows stuff. And that's not a red flag at all.
He knows stuff, and he's a misting. This is a win-win for us. This is
he's
a good day.
Wait, who's his father? Some nobleman, whatever. We don't even need to look up on that. It's fine. Everyone, this is totally fine.
Look what he drew. He drew a picture of us. We're going to put it on the fridge. Man, he's the best. His art is terrible, but he's smart, and that's what's important.
Boss, I see that's us, but is that legit? Just like knives just coming out of us? Just like we're just getting impaled with knives all over? He's like, no. Those are spikes. We got spikes all over. Have you noticed this, Harry? You haven't noticed this? You got spikes in your eyes, bud.
You get spikes. You probably can't see because there's spikes in your eyes. We'll tell you. We know that there's spikes, okay? Okay, putting that on the fridge, and that's going next to the Lord Ruler's picture of himself. Man, he's in a dark period because it's just himself crying like a bunch in just a lot of fetal positions. But, if we take it off, he gets really mad, so we're not going to worry about that. Right there.
And then I'll just put this next to a painting of my dog, Toby. Isn't he cute? There we go.
He died last year. I stepped on him on accident.
I couldn't see him because I have spikes in my eyes. So yeah, that's just our wall of totally okay art that's not concerning at all. That's just the wall of not concerning art. Great art stuff. I love it.
And you know what? This is much better than the Inquisitors' art, because their art is just it's weird, it's abstract, it's cubism. It's not. we don't like it. We're not a fan.
All right. Well, Sam, that's the end of the chapters so far. And I just wanted to end it making some magic with you. How's that?
Yeah, I'd very much enjoy that magic making.
Okay, just gotta close down this window of Crispin Glover. Give me a second.
Oh, and abstract art.
Save that one. Oh, save that. Okay, then we're good. Oh wait,
hold on.
There are several tabs of Crispin Glover open. Let me just close all of those down.
Crispin Glover, deviant art. Ben, do not do Crispin Glover deviant art. I repeat, do not do Crispin Glover deviant art.
Oh man. Well, I'm going to go ahead and generate a random noun, and Sam and I are going to make a magic system based off of this noun, free of charge. So that, Brandon, I know you're listening. We gave you a call. I'm sorry if I bugged you. At any time, you can use this. It's completely up to you, completely free of charge. They're just trying to save you some time there, buddy. All right. Go ahead and generate one.
So there's a lot of pictures of Crispin Glover as the Joker, and it's very fitting. It's Very fitting. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, Sam. The random noun is aunt, as in aunt, as in your mother's sister or your father's sister. What does aunt magic look like, Sam?
Essential oils.
Yes! Okay, it's based off of essential oils. Have you heard about essential oils? I used to have headaches all the time. Well, so there are some books that I read where things... So there's a book that's written by actually Orson Scott Card, who wrote Ender's Game, and it's a fantasy book on the frontiers of America called Seventh Son. And essentially, there's like lots of... it's based off a lot of like primitive superstition and stuff, like what if that was real. So one of the superstitions like of old times, we're talking about like frontier America, but even back to the Middle Ages, is that the seventh son was in some way powerful. What if aunts were also powerful? Like, what would you do to become an aunt so that you could get that power?
Well, like, here's the issue though.
Yeah.
The problem, because pretty much everyone's an aunt. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, not me. Sam. I'm an uncle. Uncle. Yeah. I don't know if uncle's got anything, but I mean, you know, my wife is an aunt. Your wife is an aunt?
No, she's not.
She's
my
not.
wife is not an aunt.
Okay.
Let's say Chelsea, my wife, is in this world.
My wife.
And she wants to get special powers. She wants to get those oil powers that everyone else, all these other ants got them so good. They're making everything smell like dreadlocks.
Like
and
peppermint.
she's just going around. She's trying to make her sister or her brother just have a baby so she can be an aunt. And like that is like the crux of it. Like she's like setting them up on dates. She's like setting them links like, hey, you could adopt children. That would still make me an aunt. Do animal ants, like if
oh
my
yeah, now we're getting
sister-in-law,
yes.
That counts?
You know what? I'm gonna say but it has to be. I think to become an aunt, there has to be some sort of, I don't want to say ritual because that makes it a little weird, but maybe like a little seance of some kind where you contact the ants of the past, and then they have to accept you into auntdom, and then you're gifted. You get here and knock on your door one day. You open it, and there's just that little pouch full of those good oils, the ones that will get you all those magic powers.
And do you know who delivers that? The great aunt. Your great aunt is the one that's delivering all those things. She's like no one sees who the great aunt is. No one can be a great aunt. So maybe that's one of those things. Like you have to wait for your aunt to pass before you you can like make another aunt. So like if you're ever a great aunt, you lose all your powers. So that's like a way of hindering people. So maybe you go to your enemy's grandchildren and you're like, hey, I need to de-antify your aunt so that I can beat her in a fight. So I need you to get a dog or a baby. Here's a baby. You just sign this papers and it's yours.
Maybe that's your baby now.
You just so you have a lot of babies and you just give them away to whoever so that you can. I mean, that's evil, but it's a hard knock life for ants out there.
It's possibly very illegal too. I'm just, but in this world, maybe it's not.
So I want to focus on what their powers are. So I like the essential oils things. I'm an ant. I got some lavender oil right here.
Yes. You
have
some peppermint.
I got some peppermint. I got some mint julep. I don't know. So you go and you're like meeting with your family. You're healing them. You're giving them better scores on their SATs, and you're trying to make their lives better, right? Well, who's stopping you? The evil ants. No. Let's say the uncles are stopping you. What's the opposite of essential oils for uncles, Sam? Is it like beer?
That's better than I would
say any diet drink. Any diet drink.
Wow. Okay. All right. So they're sitting there and they've got themselves a diet RC, and they're making.
They're making your
test scores bad, and they're giving you headaches, and your knuckles are really really
Your
dried
knuckles are
and
swollen.
cracking.
They just turn into cauliflower at one point. Your knuckles.
Oh no, cauliflower
and
knuckles.
You gotta put some peppermint oil on that to spice it up.
Right,
give it that pow.
But depending on the diet, they might have to make some sort of essential oil compound to fight against the powerful diet surge.
Diet beverage. The diet surge, that's a very hard one because no one even knows surge exists anymore. You'd meet the odd uncle that it looks like he's drinking a Diet Dr. Pepper, but inside filled with Tab. Tab for women. No one would suspect that. You're never going to be able to fix that one. That's like next level.
That Tab for women, is that a thing?
Tab is a soda for women, Sam. You don't know that they make soda for women? Women are different than men. Don't you know?
I mean, with powers, yeah, essential oils and light beer, but not with soda.
No, it's a soda. You can still buy it. It's actually very delicious. I'm a huge fan of diet drinks of all kind. But Tab is like a soda. Like back in the 60s or the 70s, they were selling it. It was specifically like for women. Like women weren't drinking soda, so they made a soda specifically and marketed it directly at women. It's like now a drink that you can have because you're doing house stuff.
And you need energy for house stuff.
You can find some pretty crazy Tab ads. By the way, Tab, an amazing soda. Everyone should drink it. Take it back women, take it back men, take it back non-binary people. That's an amazing soda, and they don't try to sell exclusively to women anymore, even if it comes in a pink box.
Well, the pink is actually one of those colors that is it infers innocence, and so you're like, well, I'm young at heart, so I can have some of this. What is it? TAB? What does that stand for? The awesome beverage? Oh, don't mind if I do. Well, okay, so we got aunts with essential oils. We got uncles with diet sodas and light beers. Is there an age limit? Like, because you can't just be like a 9-year-old, and a 9-year-old girl's like, okay, you know what? I'm an aunt now. I think they have to be of a certain age in order to become one. That way, not everybody's an aunt, not everyone's an uncle. They gotta wait a bit.
Mm-hmm. And the thing is, your power does depend on how intrusive your being an aunt is on your nieces and nephews. Like you can't be your power is directly related to that. So if you're like over there all the time, you're giving them haircuts, you're making them banana bread, you're making smoothies for them and just taking them over. Like, I made extra smoothies. Isn't that crazy? Like, yeah, it is a little crazy that you made too much smoothie for you to have, aunt.
Let's talk about politics. Oh no, no.
Oh no. Okay, Sam, I searched. Okay, I need everyone to stop. I know we're having lots of fun here, but there's something very important that's going on here. I searched for Tab ads, and this is an ad that has a woman. It's an ad for Tab, and it has a woman on one side, and then it slowly fades into the giant face of a man, a very, an older, attractive man, and it says at the top, "Stay in his mind," and at the bottom, "Be a mind sticker." And then in small print next to a picture of some Tab on ice, it says, "When you can't be with him, be in his mind. Have a shape that he can't forget. Tab can help. It's sugar-free and tastes better than any Diet Cola because the Coca-Cola Company wouldn't have it any other way. Enjoy Tab and be a mind sticker. The Coca-Cola Company made Tab so that women can be... Wait, what is this? What is this?
Stop it. I'm infuriated and horribly confused.
Sam.
What?
Tab.
Tab. It's the ultimate evil.
That is... Yes, so the Lord Ruler of this world is the Tab Man, right? But everyone thinks he's the Diet Dr. Pepper fan, and everyone's like, "Oh, I can do Diet Dr. Pepper, every day of the week," and they just fix it up, and they're like, "But it doesn't work for him. His Diet Dr. Pepper's too strong." You know why? Because it's Tab. It's Tab for women. Be a mind sticker. He's mind sticking all of you.
I find it. Stay in his mind. Be a mind sticker. Mind sticker is that word makes me uncomfortable. It makes me. What? You can't be with him. Okay, so Tab is the ultimate evil, but what essential oil can combat this? Or what mixture of essential oils can combat Tab?
That's
Ben,
it,
is
Sam.
it unstoppable?
The only oil that can combat it is sweat.
Oh.
Yes. It's sweat. It's the sweat of you, the sweat of your nieces and nephews too. It's a bond that no uncle can break.
Wow.
And so, and the thing is, you can only get that through love. If it's through, fear or intimidation or exertion, then it's not going to work. But if you get that essential oil, and I think we forget that the word essential is the best part of the term essential oil. You need something essential that really really speaks to you and those nieces and nephews that you love so darn much. You just want to bring them some banana bread. You make too much smoothies. You're a klutz. Who knows?
You make banana bread smoothies. They're really thick. They're almost not enjoyable. But once you get a little bit, you just can't stop. And then you get a sore mouth from trying to suck it through that straw.
So one last thing, I think this is amazing. I think this is some of the best work we've ever done. But I just want to put out there to everyone that is feeling maybe some negative feelings against Tab. I get it. The Coca-Cola company wanted to sell soda to women, and they took it way too far. They made a diet soda that is delicious, but, kind of is also pretty sexist. And I think that if you don't want to have Tab, you don't need to. But if Absolutely. You do, stick it to the man and say, hey, I'm having Tab because it's amazing and delicious, and also I'm doing some magic all over these people that they won't know anything about because they don't even know Tab exists as a soda.
Did we figure out what magic it actually is? Or did we just figure out what causes the magic?
So this is ant magic, but the focuses of ant magic are essential oils.
Okay, so that's the magic. Okay,
I was just making
Uncle
Magic, and the focuses of Uncle Magic is diet sodas.
It's to cancel out the essential oils.
Exactly. Nothing cancels out an essential oil more than soda.
That's true.
Any ant will tell you that.
Any ant with a very active Facebook.
Sam, I think we're going to buy some Tab tonight.
I'm definitely going to go find some. And some Diet RC. I had Diet RC once, and it was awful, but I think I might like it now. I don't know.
Is it because you're an uncle?
Well, I've been an uncle for a while, but I think I'm ready to accept that mantle, of being uncle. Yeah. Uncle-dumb.
I get it.
Hey, Mr. Sanderson, that's for you.
Yeah.
We want you to have it.
It's for you.
Please, it's boxed up. It's ready to go. And you please take it.
Have a Tab on us. And if you at home want to send us some Tab, feel free to do it. I will take all the Tab that you can. I'll fight the evil uncles of the world.
By drinking all their Tab.
That's the sequel. Like the uncles aren't evil, in totality. So the aunts and the uncles have to come together to fight together. Anyone who's read Wheel of Time will be familiar with this trope. Anyway, thank you guys so much for listening in. We will be back next week with another episode, and yeah, we're closing up on Mistborn. It's a fun ride, and I think from this we're gonna go right into the sequel unless we find something else we want to do. But thank you guys so much for listening. Sam, anything else you want to say before we go?
Just don't be afraid. There's other books to read. We will continue being friends, Ben and I. We will always be friends until we're done reading all of Brandon Sanderson.
And then we will stop being friends. Luckily, at the pace we're going, we figured out it'll probably be at least 6 years before we're through his current catalog.
six more years in this friendship car, and then we gotta sell it to the junkyard and watch it be smushed.
6 years, or as people in the future will know it, the entire presidency of Donald Trump. Halfway through that second term.
Well, I mean, at least we know it won't be the full 8. I guess we could take some. We can have some faith in that, I guess. Whatever. Hey guys, we love you. Tweet at us, follow us. We're on Facebook now. We're fancy.
Yep.
Other than that, how about get real close to your headphones. Pull them in real tight.
Yeah.
Go read a book.
Read a